Meet the philosopher who ditched everything, a man living in a barrel, spitting in the face of kings, and searching for an honest person with a lantern in broad daylight. What if I told you this guy wasn't crazy? He was a genius who cracked the code to real happiness. Welcome to the wild world of Diogenes' philosophy, the ancient Greek rebel who threw out everything society told him to value. Stick around, because this 10-minute dive into his mind might just change how you see your life. Let's get started. Who was Diogenes? Diogenes of Sinope wasn't your typical philosopher. Born around 412 BCE in a Greek colony, he didn't start out famous, he started out in trouble. His dad got caught messing with the local currency, and Diogenes got exiled. So he rolled into Athens with nothing but a mission. Live free, live simple, and live true. Picture him strolling into the bustling marketplace, setting up shop in a giant clay barrel. Not a mansion, not even a shack, just a barrel. Why? Because Diogenes believed you don't need stuff to be happy. He was the OG minimalist, way before it was cool. Inspired by Antisthenes, a student of Socrates, he took philosophy out of the classroom and into the streets, literally. So what's Diogenes' philosophy all about? It's called cynicism. Don't worry, it's not about being negative. It's about living like nature intended, raw, real, and unfiltered. First big idea, simplicity. One day Diogenes saw a kid drinking water with his hands. Boom, he chucked his wooden cup, saying, "A child just schooled me. Nature's all I need." That's the vibe. Strip life down to the basics. Second idea, virtue is everything. Forget gold, forget fame. Diogenes said, "I've got nothing, and yet I've got it all, because inner strength beats outer wealth any day." Third, screw the rules. He ate in public, shocking back then, and walked barefoot in the snow yelling, "This is freedom." He didn't care what people thought. Sound crazy? Maybe. But stick with me, this guy's onto something. Now let's talk about the stories that made Diogenes a legend. Picture this. He's wandering Athens with a lantern, lit up in the middle of the day. People ask, "What are you doing?" He snaps back, "I'm looking for an honest man." Spoiler, he never found one. It's a savage burn on society's fakeness, and it's why we still talk about him. Then there's the time Alexander the Great, yeah, the Alexander, rolls up and says, "Name anything, I'll give it to you." Diogenes, chilling in his barrel, looks up and goes, "Step out of my sunlight." Meek drop. Alexander was so impressed he said, "If I weren't me, I'd be Diogenes." Oh, and one more. Plato calls humans featherless bipeds. Diogenes walks in with a plucked chicken and says, "Here's your human." The guy was a walking reality check. Funny, fearless, and unforgettable. Here's where it gets juicy. Diogenes wasn't just a troll, he had a point. Ever feel like you're chasing stuff, money, likes, a bigger house, but still feel empty? Diogenes would say you're playing the game wrong. He lived in a barrel to prove you don't need a palace to feel rich. He ditched his cup to show nature's got your back. And when he told Alexander to move, he was flexing total independence. No king, no boss, no problem. It's like he's asking us, what's holding you back from being free? Think about it. His philosophy isn't some dusty old book. It's a slap in the face to our obsessed with stuff world. And that's why it's addictive. It's raw truth. Fast forward to 2025. Diogenes is still a rock star. His ideas birthed stoicism, inspiring guys like Zeno to keep it real. But it's not just ancient history. Look around. Minimalism? That's Diogenes' vibes. People ditching clutter, living tiny, straight out of his playbook. Environmentalism? He'd love it. Less waste, more nature. Even influencers going off-grid are channeling his energy. Imagine him on YouTube, roasting consumerism from his barrel, racking up millions of views. His big lesson? Happiness isn't out there, it's in you. Virtue, freedom, simplicity. That's the Diogenes hack. And it's trending because we're all secretly craving it. So what's the takeaway from this wild ride? Diogenes' philosophy isn't just a story, it's a challenge. Next time you're stressed about bills or scrolling for the perfect filter, ask yourself, what would Diogenes do? Maybe he'd toss his phone and laugh. I don't need this to live. He's not saying ditch everything, just rethink what matters. Hit that like button if this blew your mind and drop a comment. Could you live like Diogenes? Subscribe for more ancient wisdom that slaps in 2025. I've got plenty more where this came from. Let's keep this convo going. Diogenes proved you don't need much to live big. From a barrel to Alexander's shadow, he flipped the script on what success looks like. Thanks for hanging out for 10 minutes. Share this with someone who needs a wake-up call. Next up, we're diving into more badass philosophers who broke the mold. See you in the next one. Stay curious, stay free.